Let the holiness begin. Hello and welcome to a Smurpy video, and today we are looking at the Uncanny X-Force Omnibus, and I cannot describe how I feel right now. I've never wanted an omnibus so bad as this, and this one is rare and I'm so happy to have it. So on the cover we have pretty much the full X-Force team. Later on you get Deathlock and Nightcrawler, but this was the core of the team. Wolverine, Psylocke, Archangel, Phantom X, and Deadpool, surprisingly enough. And Deadpool, I like his character in this because he actually does believe in this mutant core. So basically what happens at the end of at the end of Second Coming, Hope is returned to the now, and Cyclops decides, after everybody finds out about his original X-Force team, that he doesn't want to create another X-Force team. So Wolverine takes it upon himself as, you know what, I'm going to get the job done with people that I know are going to do the job with me, and it's going to be downright dark and dirty, so to speak. Okay, so there is the bio for the book, one for the record books. And I've got to say, with the books that were coming out, then you had Cyclops' Extinction Team and Wolverine and the X-Men. There was some good writing in both books, but there wasn't the quality, I would say, wasn't really there, and it felt like a kind of a weird time for X-Men, like they were coming into this new kind of age after Schism, and obviously Avengers versus X-Men, etc. So this for me was a fantastic story with depth, etc. It really did sit well with me in terms of reading it, etc. So you've got Uncanny X-Force 1 to 35, 5.1, 19.1, and material from Wolverine Road to Hell 1, All New Wolverine Saga, and X-Men Spotlight. Okay, so let's have a look inside. Okay. So here's a little bit about the team, which is quite nice. I don't think we usually get that, to be honest with you. And then we get about the creators, which is always pretty good, especially if you're interested in how they become who they become. Okay, first of all, underneath is a nice white cover, which is really quite nice considering what a dark series this is. It's quite interesting, so to speak. So if you ever do lose the dust cover, you know, you got this underneath, and it does really look nice. And most of these omnibuses, you know, they cater for in case you lose. Now I really dig this on the back, very cool. This is, if I remember correctly, Phantom X's spaceship, Ava, which is pretty awesome. Okay, as usual, you get who the writers are, who the artists are. Sorry, this is more about the artists than the writers. Oh, sorry. Go if you're interested in that. You can pause it. I found when I read this that the art was always, it always reflected the dark nature of this series. And the first story is around Apocalypse. Apocalypse clones himself as a child, and the child is filled with darkness. So he becomes Apocalypse. So at the moment, Apocalypse is a kid, a clone kid. And Wolverine has decided that there is no room for Apocalypse in this world. So he has to pay for it. Well, not pay for it. This little kid has to pay for it. So it's a choice of killing the evil before it becomes evil, if that makes sense. So it's one of those dilemmas. The second 6 issues after the Apocalypse solution is Deathlock situation. So Deathlock, after the world, if I remember rightly, I could be completely wrong here, and the world is in Phantom X's possession. He shrunk it down, and I can't remember why they want it, but there's some reason that they want it. And basically Deathlock ends up joining the team. I'm really looking forward to rereading this, the fact that I can't remember what happened in it. Also, we find in the Dark Angel saga. Basically, Archangel is becoming Apocalypse. He pretty much does come Apocalypse, and he tricks the X-Force team in going to the Age of Apocalypse world, and they get stranded, etc. with Dark Beast, if I remember rightly. Anyway, they all come back somehow, and Phantom X has brought Apocalypse back to life in the form of a boy, and he's given them all this kind of fluffy memories that he can be a hero, etc., and he can grow up and be a good person. So pretty much that happens as well, and Evan ends up being quite a strong character in Wolverine of the X-Men, and X-Men Blue after that, if I remember rightly. So there's that. I think is pretty cool. I do like Evan. I liked it in Axis when he actually turns into a Apocalypse, when they all get their roles reversed, so to speak. So generally, he is a good guy. So Otherworld, Phantom X is brought there to basically be killed, I believe, because he's an anomaly and a danger, etc., to that universe, and it's kind of a bit psycho. And you kind of find Brian with Psylocke's, that's obviously Psylocke's brother, and her other brother, Jamie, who's done some kind of crazy bad things, if I remember rightly. And, well, sorry, spoiler, a bit too late for that. Crack. It's kind of a bit crazy, and I think, if I remember right, Jamie is controlling his brother. It's a bit weird. Okay, and then you got the last sort of 2 volumes, which are called Final Execution, Part 1 and 2. So basically, some of Wolverine's foes, Sabretooth, his son Daken, etc., decide that they're going to take the kids from Jean Grey School, and they're going to lure him into a trap. And once again, it's quite dark. You know, they're wanting to kill these kids, and Wolverine goes quite dark on his own kid at one point. I won't give that spoiler away. And also, one of the things that I liked about this was Psylocke in the future. She uses her telepathically to sort out murderers, etc., and kill them. And by doing that, she basically becomes, I guess, a bad lady. And her younger self and Wolverine and X-Men are trying to stop it, I guess, from coming true. Okay, so it ends, and it goes into Storm's Uncanny X-Force, which didn't really feel like an X-Force team. And it had 3 Phantom X's. It was a bit bizarre, and a love triangle between female Phantom X, male Phantom X, and Psylocke. It was really weird. Probably still worth checking out anyway. So the end. And you get this in the back, which is pretty cool. So some extra stories that you didn't get before, I guess. And at the back you get some cover art, etc., which is really nice. I always dig seeing the other covers. I always like this one. And then you get some behind the scenes, etc., them writing their story. And some of the art, which is quite cool, seeing the evolution from start to kind of finish. And then you get an interview at the end.
Okay, so just a quick comparison with 2 other omnibuses. So we have the big new X-Men omnibus, and then we have the smaller Uncanny omnibus. And Uncanny X-Force sits in between because it's probably about 15 issues bigger than this, and probably about six issues smaller than this. Plus I've got an annual in that one, which makes it bigger. So there's the size comparisons. And as always, the binding is spot on. It's really strong. I've never known any of my Marvel omnibuses, even the ones I've had for about 10 years, to have any damage to the binding. They seem to last a long time, and I hope they do, because you know what? I don't want to have to go change this collection at some point. These books are expensive.
Okay, so just to wrap it up, this is an amazing book. It has a complete series in, which is always perfect. However, if you're trying to get it, try and be a bit patient and try and get the best deal for you, because this easily goes for usually 130. Most of the times that I've seen it, I got lucky. I was patient. I found a good deal. So do that. But all in all, it's got fantastic stories, and it's an amazing series, a true classic in terms of X-Men and the X-Force mythology, etc. You know, we've seen many incarnations of X-Force over the years. Wolverines being some of the favorite X-Force in my mind. I've really enjoyed some of their stories. I like the old stuff as well. But this is spot on. So follow me on Facebook, SmurDP. Like my page. Like, comment, subscribe, and embrace the geekiness. Goodbye.